Present. District 3, Ms. Gilbert.
Present.
District 4, Mr. Smith. Present. Chairman also present.
We have a quorum present this evening. We have our invocation by Mr. Porter and our pledge by Mr.
God our Father, we're always mindful of those that are less fortunate than we are, and especially those right now that have been affected by the recent storms, Harvey and Irma and others. And pray for those that have been affected by the wildfires in the west. So God, we offer them up in prayer and pray that you hold them in your hands and you will protect them and give them comfort and guidance. God, we're thankful for those that serve on this commission, give of their time and their efforts to make this place a better place to live. We're thankful for their families that allow them to do this. We pray you'll continue to watch over us and guide us. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 8 items on the agenda this evening for discussion. Do we have any changes for proceeding? Have a motion to approve the agenda with those 8 items. Do we have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Okay. We have one individual signed up to speak this evening, Mr. Gary Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges, Commissioners. The issue I want to bring forward to you again is as a reminder, this is an issue that came forward before. This concerns community corrections and court referral. As y'all know, on December the 12th of last year, y'all submitted a conditional, not unconditional, conditional approval of their activities over there, pending an audit, independent audit. That audit has not been completed. I've talked to Mr. Hodges about this, and it's still pending. I would like to encourage y'all to get this audit done as quickly as possible. Now, I know audits take time, but we're talking about 10 months. Let's see, October, November. Well, 9 months now. I mean, how much longer is it going to take? It's going to take a year, 2 years? That's ridiculous. I get a lot of people that tell me about the goings on of there and across the road. I have suggested here, I've talked to personnel people, I've talked to y'all about this before, and I've also talked to the city of Scottsboro. I recommend y'all seek other venues for doing your drug testing. And by the way, in case you don't know it, and maybe you do, but I'm going to remind you again, the standards, our judicial standards here are lower than Department of Transportation standards and employment standards for drug testing. That's a fact, so the folks over here do not have a certified lab. If you're going to get a DOT test for a certified lab, it has to be sent off. But I'm asking, I guess the only other option in this area is possibly the hospital. Of course, at the hospital, you have nurses that is authorized to take urine samples. You also have physicians there, which is another problem. I got a problem anytime you involve mental health issues and you do not have physicians or qualified psychologists or psychiatrists certified, board certified in drug and substance abuse. And that's what's currently ongoing between here and over there. So I'm asking you to do the audit, do what is necessary to ensure we have a good system. I've never said, and I've wrote extensively about this and done extensive research. My background is healthcare administration. I have never said, or nor will you ever hear me say, that program, that a comprehensive drug treatment program is not needed. But if you're going to do it, it must be done right. And basically, the control is out of the hands of public oversight. You've got a nonprofit organization, and that's been a problem. Oversight. The oversight needs to rest with y'all and the county commission. If a person wants to see documentation, they can come to y'all and get the necessary documentation, but as it exists now, there is no oversight, or a limited oversight with the state, and it becomes very ineffective for people that do reporting on this, or any report, in a formal media or a non-formal, a blogger or whoever, the public. to request information from the folks over at Community Corrections Court Referrals. As a matter of fact, their statement to me, well, they're just like a First Baptist Church. No, they're not. They are an arm and a branch of the judiciary in the state of Alabama, and particularly here in this county. So folks, I'm just telling you, the audit is needed, and I would encourage you to do whatever you can to speed up that audit. Let's get it out. I mean, it shouldn't take a year. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks. We'll move on to our discussion items, and the first item is regarding the senior RX employee contract. Based on the budget that was provided this year, we don't have this in our packets. I need to send everybody a copy. I'll try to get that copy out to you tomorrow. I think you provided that to me, correct? Okay, so we'll have a copy of that out to everybody tomorrow for review. If we're prepared to move forward with this next week, this is an annual contract for this employee, and it's something that has to be renewed every year pending the funding approval. So if we approve the budget as it's been discussed in our budget meetings, then the dollars are there to provide for this employee as well. And so any questions on this at this time? Okay. Similarly, the county administrator contract, this is up for an update and renewal. And again, I'll try to get that copy. I think there was one or two things I need to get Mr. Porter to update on that. And we'll get that out to everybody so that if there's any questions, if we're prepared, we can move forward next week as well on that. If not, then we'll look at that further. So any questions or comments on that this time? Okay. Next item is regarding the Thanksgiving holiday. Normally, we identify the dates that are given, and we usually give the Friday following Thanksgiving off. So we need to make a decision this evening as to how we want to proceed with that and what days and times we want to provide. We've already allowed for the day of Thanksgiving, which is the 23rd of November. Last year, I think we provided half a day on the 22nd and the 24th, the following day. So any recommendations on how to move forward with that?
I'm definitely in favor of Friday. We've not been able to give our employees raises for several years, so we've tried to give some of these holidays, give long weekends to something that we can do.
I'll go along with that.
What's the date?
22nd and 23rd, 24th.
Yeah, last year I think we provided half a day on the 22nd and then the 23rd and 24th. We can provide it however we think is best. Did you say the 24th?
Yeah,
For sure.
For sure, the 24th.
Any discussion on the 22nd?
How did the half-day work out, public reception of that and last year?
I think it worked out well. Obviously, folks are trying to prepare for the holiday and get things together, so I think it's a benefit to our employees as well. It's usually pretty slow on that day as far as for the business side of it. I won't speak for the sheriff's department side of it because I know that's a totally different business, but as far as the business side of it, it's usually pretty slow for those days.
So you guys want to do a half day?
I like to do that, because maybe we got family members coming in, they've done it last year, I mean, I guess. Go ahead and go with that,
Half day or full day?
half day.
Okay, so we'll look at a half day on the 22nd and then the 23rd and 24th. So do we, if,
That would,
place,
well, the 22nd, my boss could areas to provide extra time for like those people that may be off on the 22nd that live in other end of county, just try to get here. That'd be a day I'd be doing all my business too.
we'll put this together then and have this prepared for next week. If there's no objection, then move forward with that next week. Okay, the next item is regarding the litter control van. This is something we've discussed in our budget meetings fairly extensively. We've talked about, how we want to proceed with this. I think we determined that a van was probably the best route to go based on the current situation. In the future, we might look at some other opportunities. But are there any other questions or comments on this? Or recommendations on how to proceed?
This right here, we got these bids on in here now for a pickup truck, right?
Correct.
We need,
We did get something.
This is for a van.
Oh, this is
Did we
I
get
hauled,
something van?
I hauled 10, 11 inmates
Yeah.
at a time, and I couldn't haul them in the truck.
But did we get any bids on the van?
I did.
This is the van, yeah. The truck,
I mean, this front bed right here, so that's why I said, we was talking about a van, this front, like
Oh,
that
yeah,
F-150 pickup.
I'm not sure where that may have fallen in from.
Couch in the back.
What's that?
So anybody have a copy of that, biggest what we had?
I believe 29,000.
29.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, this is not the correct information.
What would that consist of? I mean, I know 17's done over, 18's, how much higher are they? I mean, we fixing to try to purchase something.
Have you looked at that?
I did not, no, sir.
I just wondering, we were looking at something already a year old, basically, you know, when you roll off there with it.
For 2017? It would be off the state bid. What we would need to do if we chose to pursue it would be to set an allotment, say this is the max amount. If it's 29, maybe set an amount of $30,000. Yeah, not to exceed that.
Get a bid for 18 and see where we're at. I mean, it'd be crazy to buy 17, we get 18, basically the same dollars.
Right.
That'd be okay?
Well, there you go.
We need to let it back out for
You need
bid.
to,
About the sanitation.
About a state bid, is, you know.
Yeah, we pull it off the state bid, which is what you had provided for.
We're gonna put this for next week.
Yeah, if there's no objection, we can move forward and set an amount for that. And in the meantime, could you look at that on the state bid with a 2018? Yeah.
And the state bid should change again here next month. Obviously, maybe a different vendor, may go up a little bit, may not. It doesn't change very much on the state bids, but you never know.
You think something like the 30,000 that would stay in line with that? If we set a
I would
line?
think so.
Okay.
I got another bid method, which it wasn't a state bid, because they didn't have a state bid. It was 38 something.
Right.
I'd just like to see how one, you know, against 17, 18 against 17.
Right.
That's where we're at.
Mr. Sis, here's the only problem with that is it will probably take another, they may not even put those bids out until middle October or late October, if that matters, for the 2018s.
So they can't come up with nothing right.
I don't know. I have to do some research, but usually those bids, there's kind of a dead area there
Yeah.
where October 1st, it's over with and you have to wait till they send out the next group of bids, so. You might say more on that, Mr. Porter.
I think Rocky's correct. The current bids probably will expire October 1 and have to do the rebid. There'll be some period of time before we get those back and the state can issue its award for the state bid, so.
Well, I just hate to be close if it was, if I'm ready October and everything. I'd rather have a 18 instead of rolled off, it'd be $3,000 less than, you know, older one. If it was our close dollars, you know.
You may be able to get an 18 bid, I don't know. The bid we got here is, the one that's not correct is for the F-150s in 18.
Yeah, I think that's out there for 18.
I can remember at least two different times we bought vehicles other than on the state bid because they were cheaper when we let them out for bid. Would it not behoove us to go ahead and?
We can pursue the bid process if we want to handle it that way. In looking at, some of the other prices though, it looked like that was going to be higher, that's why.
If
And it may very well with this type of vehicle.
Lynn Lake and Chevrolet, are they on this bid?
I don't know what that state bid or not.
Each particular vehicle has a dealership that
Yeah.
wins that bid. So if you're going for a Chevy, I don't know what they call them, Chevy 1500 or 2500. Anyway, it might be Lynn Layton or it might be Harbin Chevrolet or it could be someplace out of Mobile.
The reason I was asking, because back when I was buying Chevrolet, and I sent a guy down there back last year, it was $8,200 less.
Yeah, I've not found any, they don't have anything close usually.
Yeah.
We had Woody Anderson a few years ago. We loved when they had that, but they don't have it anymore.
We can, if we want to move forward with a bid process, I would suggest that we do that, start that immediately. That would take a couple of weeks. How many weeks is that? 4 weeks to advertise that. Again, based on looking at what some dealer costs were compared to what the state bid was, that's why we presented the state bid as the.
It's about $9,000 difference.
It's Been on its last leg, and
Transmission slipping in it, and if you let it idle, it does not have any oil pressure at all.
I'd love to be for that one, I just thought if it was pretty close instead of a one that's already considered a year old.
so you can have it ready for us next week.
I hope so.
We've got state bid information.
And even if you ordered it, it could be 10, 12 weeks before you get it,
Right.
even if they bid.
This guy at Fort Payne said that they had some already
Oh, good.
ordered, and
Okay.
they should already be in.
Does he have the state bid?
Yes.
Oh, good, that's great.
Do we want to proceed with this next week to set an amount, or do we wish to bid, or do we want to find some further information? We can wait, it, like you said, probably going to be October, mid-October, as far as looking at a 2018 price.
Given the type of vehicle, it would probably be hard for a dealership to compare with the state bid price on this type of vehicle. So I'm not opposed to buying it off state bid.
And to be honest, even if it's 2017, it's brand new, you got 0 miles, it's still a brand new vehicle.
Yeah, it's new.
Okay. We'll place this on the agenda for next week, and then we can determine then how we want to proceed. We'll have the state bid price as the recommended amount. Okay, next items regarding labor with the labor position with Public Works. This was a vacant temporary labor position at Public Works, and we have a letter of recommendation to proceed with that. How many other positions do we have on this open at this time?
It's our last vacancy,
The last vacancy.
with the exception to the engineering side of the operation. There's a EA1 that remains vacant.
Okay. So questions or comments on this recommendation? Okay, do you have anything, Mr. Campbell, anything further?
No, sir, nothing other than the letter dated September 14th that should be in your packets.
Okay. All right, if there's no objection, we'll place this on the agenda for next week as well. Okay, next item regarding cleaning contract with the Parks Department. Mr. Barnes couldn't be here this evening. Had a thing at the park he had to take care of. So we went for a short-term contract most recently with this. The company that's been doing the work for us out the park has done a good job. They've taken care of any issues or concerns that we've addressed with them. So Mr. Barnes would like to recommend that we proceed with them for an annual contract. And this begins when, Mr. Porter?
It should shortly,
April.
yeah, I'm not sure when the,
What this is ready.
That was the original.
Yeah.
is it on there?
Oh, I don't know if
Mr. Barnes and I talked about it, and he told me when this one expired, I just don't remember when it is. So it would begin when this one, the current one expired.
6 months from the 7th of April, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, October.
So we'll be,
Like, it's already expired, so we need to.
so this, what he's requesting again is a 1-year or annual contract for this. And again, he's recommended based on the performance and experience that they be the ones to get that contract. Are there any questions or comments on this item?
One thing you may want to consider is begin it effective now, but make it expire September 30, 2018, so you get back on
Annual.
fiscal year rotation. That's just a suggestion.
Could you update that?
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, if there's no objection, we'll place that on the agenda for next week as well. Okay, next item is regarding hospital board appointments, and we have, I think, a DHR appointment. I'd like to request that we do this next week, make these appointments or any that we are feel willing to make by next week. We have currently 3 vacancies, and we had a letter of resignation for one due to health concerns. They've since asked to recall that letter of resignation, so that's something for the commission to make a decision on as well. Again, 3 individuals that are currently on the board, their term expires this month. We've had 2 asked to be reappointed and 3 others that are interested for these positions. So again, like everyone, if we can be prepared next week to make a decision on any or all of these if possible. In addition to that, we have a term on the DHR board, a member of the DHR board. which is open. The person has asked not to be reappointed to that position. Good evening, everyone. They've asked not to be reappointed to that position, so we do have a vacancy on the DHR board, and we'd like to let everyone know if you're interested to apply for that, please do apply. We'll leave this open right now until the end of October or until someone has been appointed to that position. So any questions or comments on any of those? The final item is our annual budget. We will have a budget meeting afterwards to get some final numbers, understanding of the annual budget. We're about to a break-even point in our general fund based on the changes in revenues that we've sought, and then, of course, the changes in expenses. We'll discuss that further during the budget meeting. Do you have anything to add at this time, Mr. Manning, regarding that?
No, it's, well, we did get the new rates on the insurance, so it's about a $20,000 deficit, because it went up 1.5%.
So about a $20,000 deficit is where we're at this point in time. And that's with, again, some of the changes that we've discussed previously. So we'll go into a budget meeting immediately after this to discuss further some details on that, answer any questions on that. And hopefully, I think we'll be prepared. That should be everything. We'll be prepared to vote on the budget next week, correct? All right. So any other questions? Okay, so we'll move on to our reports. Mr. Manning, you have anything? Mr. Porter?
I don't have anything.
Mr. Campbell?
County Road 33 paving project is complete. And County Road 92, our design and build project for the bridge, we're in the concept phase. So last week we held the design and build pre-bid meeting, and we've received one appointment for the concept phase to be submitted by a contractor. They'll have 14 days from the date of that pre-bid meeting to submit their concept for review. That was all.
Thanks, sir. Chief Deputy?
Nothing.
Okay. Mr. Venable?
No, sir.
Mr. Sis? Ms. Gilbert?
Just, Mr. Jonathan, we're
ma'am.
singing your praises up on 33, thank you.
Well,
They are happy, they're dancing in the street.
I'll let them know. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Guthrie?
No, sir.
Okay. We'll take a 5-minute recess, and then we'll go into our budget meeting after that recess. So we will recess.
That was County Road 92. Concept,